Nestled between rolling hills, there stood an old McDonald's restaurant that had seen better days. Its golden arches had faded, and the once bright colors of the playland area had turned into a dull, eerie palette. Locals had long since dubbed it the abandoned playland due to the deserted state of the once thriving family destination. Rumors circulated through the town about the playland. Children dared each other to enter the rusting play structures, while parents warned their kids not to go near the place. They spoke of strange sounds echoing from within, as if the laughter of children still lingered in the air, carried on the wind. One fateful summer evening, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to challenge their fears and explore the abandoned McDonald's playland. Among them were Mia, a determined and fearless girl, Jake, her skeptical but curious best friend, Emma, an enthusiastic photographer, and Max, the daredevil of the group. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the neglected playland, the group gathered outside the rusty gates. Mia, fueled by a mix of curiosity and excitement, led the way. The play structures creaked underfoot as they entered the area, the rustling leaves and distant chirping of crickets serving as the only soundtrack. Emma raised her camera, capturing the hauntingly empty playground. Suddenly, the laughter of children seemed to resound through the stillness. The group froze, exchanging wide-eyed glances. Max's voice broke the silence, dismissing it as mere imagination. Yet, the laughter persisted, growing louder and more distinct with each passing second. As they approached the swing sets, the chains began to sway gently, as if pushed by invisible hands. Mia reached out and touched one of the moving swings, her fingers meeting a cold, unnatural chill. A chilling breeze swept through the playland, ruffling their hair and sending shivers down their spines. Venturing further, they stumbled upon an old, cracked mural of Ronald McDonald. The painted smile seemed to twist into an eerie grin as they gazed at it. A faint whisper seemed to emanate from the mural, faint words that echoed in their ears like a distant memory. Fear gnawed at their resolve, but a combination of curiosity and stubbornness urged them to continue. At the heart of the playland, they discovered a forgotten tunnel, its entrance concealed by overgrown vines. Drawn by a mixture of dread and fascination, they entered the tunnel one by one, their steps echoing against the cold, damp walls. The passage seemed endless, and the further they went, the more the shadows seemed to dance menacingly around them. Finally, they emerged into a chamber that defied all expectations. The room was aglow with an otherworldly light, casting eerie shadows on the walls. In the center stood a carousel, its worn animals slowly turning in a hauntingly hypnotic rhythm. The sound of a music box drifted through the air, mingling with the whispers that had plagued them throughout their journey. Unable to resist, Max reached out and touched the carousel, sending it spinning faster. As it gained momentum, the shadows seemed to twist and merge, forming shapes that mirrored their deepest fears. Mia's heart raced as she saw her own reflection morph into a grotesque figure, while Jake's skepticism wavered as he confronted his darkest doubts. Realizing the danger they were in, Emma snapped out of her trance and grabbed Max's arm, pulling him away from the carousel. As they fled the chamber, the eerie glow dimmed, and the whispers subsided. They emerged from the tunnel, gasping for breath and covered in a cold sweat. With trembling hands, they pushed through the rusty gates and stumbled back into the moonlit night. Their faces pale and eyes wide with disbelief, they exchanged a silent understanding of the horrors they had witnessed. From that day on, they carried the memory of the abandoned playland, a place where the laughter of children turned into echoes of a chilling past, a past that refused to be forgotten. It was a place that held cherished memories for generations, but it also concealed a dark secret that had been forgotten with time. One gloomy evening, Sarah, a young girl with bright eyes and a mischievous smile, walked into the McDonald's with her parents. It had been a long day, and her parents decided to treat her with a happy meal. As they placed their order, the cashier handed Sarah a small, vintage-looking toy. It was a miniature clown with a wind-up mechanism. That night, as Sarah lay in bed, she placed the toy on her nightstand. As the hours passed, she was awakened by faint whispers that seemed to come from the toy itself. She listened closely, her heart racing, as the toy's eyes began to glow eerily in the darkness. The whispers grew louder, and Sarah felt an inexplicable sense of unease. The next morning, Sarah's parents found her pale and trembling. She recounted the strange events of the night, but her parents dismissed it as a bad dream. However, as the days went on, the whispers continued, and the toy's behavior became more erratic. It would move on its own across the nightstand, and its whispers would turn into chilling laughter. Sarah's parents decided to investigate. They contacted the McDonald's and learned that the toy had been part of a limited edition series years ago. It was rumored that the toys were recalled due to malfunctions, but details were scarce. Determined to rid their home of the unsettling presence, they decided to return the toy to the restaurant. As they entered the McDonald's, they noticed a peculiar atmosphere. The air felt heavy, and the lights flickered ominously. The cashier looked nervous when they mentioned the toy, and he led them to the manager, Mr. Thompson. He shared a grim tale about the toys. They were crafted using materials from a cursed factory that had been destroyed decades ago. Mr. Thompson explained that the toys had an inexplicable connection to the factory's tragic history. It was said that the factory workers had suffered terrible accidents, and their restless spirits seemed to have latched onto the toys. No matter how many were destroyed or recalled, they always reappeared, passing from one unsuspecting child to another. Feeling a sense of responsibility, Mr. Thompson led Sarah's family to a hidden room in the back of the restaurant. It was filled with boxes of the haunted toys, each one waiting to find its way into the hands of an unsuspecting child. The family decided to gather all the toys and seal them in a box, hoping to put an end to the curse. But as they left the restaurant, a sinister laughter echoed through the air. The toys had other plans. Back home, the sealed box began to shake violently, and the whispers turned into desperate cries for release. The family watched in horror as cracks formed on the box, and a ghostly figure emerged from within. With a shiver, they realized that the curse had taken a new form, transcending the confines of the toys. The factory workers' spirits sought freedom, and they were determined to achieve it at any cost. The family knew they had to act fast. Armed with the knowledge Mr. Thompson had shared, they set out to find a way to break the curse once and for all. Their journey took them to the factory's ruins, where they discovered an old journal belonging to the factory owner. It contained a ritual that could potentially put the spirits to rest. With the guidance of the journal, they performed the ritual, hoping to finally bring an end to the curse that had haunted their lives. As the ritual concluded, a sense of calm washed over them. The factory workers' spirits seemed to have found peace, and the haunted toys lay still. Sarah's family returned home, and for the first time in weeks, the house was free from whispers and eerie laughter. The haunted Happy Meal toy and its cursed history became a distant memory, a cautionary tale shared among friends during late-night gatherings. The McDonald's in Willowbrook was eventually renovated and reopened, but the story of the haunted toy remained a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left undisturbed. By day, it was a bustling spot where families enjoyed their meals, and locals gathered to catch up. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, the restaurant took on an eerie transformation. The townsfolk whispered tales of the midnight drive-thru, a phenomenon that occurred at the Crestwood McDonald's only after dark. It was said that if you pulled up to the drive-thru after midnight, you would be met by an otherworldly voice on the intercom, inviting you to place an order. One chilly autumn evening, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to put the legend to the test. James, Sarah, Alex, and Emma piled into James' car and drove to the McDonald's, arriving just a few minutes past midnight. The restaurant's golden arches gleamed eerily under the moonlight. Nervous laughter filled the car as they pulled up to the drive-thru speaker. Sarah leaned forward and pressed the button, her voice trembling as she said, "Hello?" Static crackled, and then a low, distorted voice responded, "Welcome to the midnight drive-thru. Please state your order." The teens exchanged glances before placing their orders, chuckling nervously as they did. The voice on the other end confirmed their orders in a monotonous tone, causing shivers to run down their spines. As they pulled forward to the pickup window, the unsettling feeling intensified. The building seemed to cast long, distorted shadows, and the interior lights flickered. An employee, clad in an outdated uniform, handed them their bags through the window. His eyes were hollow, devoid of any warmth or recognition. Emma, her curiosity overpowering her fear, asked, "What's the deal with this place after midnight?" The employee's lips curled into a chilling smile. "After midnight, this McDonald's becomes a bridge between our world and the beyond. We serve those who hunger for more than just food." A sense of dread settled in the car as the teens exchanged uneasy glances. As they drove away, they peeked into their bags, only to find unusual items: a toy from decades past, a moldy sandwich, and a drink that emitted an unsettling mist. Unease turned to fear as they heard the sound of footsteps behind them. Glancing in the rearview mirror, they saw the same employee following them, his expression unchanged. James accelerated, but no matter how fast they drove, the employee kept pace, his footsteps echoing ominously. Panicked, they took a sharp turn onto a dark forest road, hoping to lose their pursuer. The trees loomed like specters, casting long shadows across the road. With a sudden jolt, the car shuddered to a halt, the engine dying as if drained of life. The teens looked around in terror, realizing they were surrounded by darkness. The employee drew closer, his footsteps a haunting rhythm. Just as they thought all was lost, a distant light flickered through the trees. A figure emerged, holding a lantern, an old woman with eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. She spoke with a voice that resonated like a soothing melody. "You've ventured into the realm between, where desires and fears intertwine. To escape, you must confront what lies within." As they gazed into the depths of the lantern's light, their deepest fears materialized before them: regrets, insecurities, and long-buried secrets. With newfound courage, they acknowledged their fears, and the darkness receded. When they awoke, the first light of dawn was breaking through the trees. Their car was parked in front of the abandoned McDonald's, but there was no sign of the old employee or the lantern-bearing woman. The legend of the midnight drive-thru remained a haunting memory, a testament to the thin veil between the ordinary and the unknown. The modern exterior and vibrant signage attracted both locals and tourists, promising a unique dining experience. But what intrigued everyone the most was the rumors surrounding its elaborate PlayPlace, a mysterious and chilling mirror maze. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows over the restaurant, a group of adventurous teenagers gathered outside. Among them was Emily, a fearless soul known for her love of exploring the unknown. With whispers of the mirror maze's supernatural powers in their minds, they entered the PlayPlace with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Inside the PlayPlace, mirrors covered every wall, floor, and ceiling, reflecting images of distorted grins and endless corridors. The air felt heavy, and a faint chill permeated the space, even though the air conditioning was turned off. Emily led the way, her flashlight cutting through the darkness as they navigated the confusing labyrinth. Laughter echoed, but it didn't belong to any of the teens. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, but when they turned to look, nothing was there. As they continued deeper into the maze, their reflections seemed to take on a life of their own, mimicking their movements with unsettling accuracy. Time lost its meaning, and panic began to set in. Emily's heart raced as she realized they were trapped, the mirrors offering no clue as to which path was the way out. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a room with a massive, ornate mirror at its center. The mirror seemed to shimmer with an unnatural light, drawing them closer. Transfixed, Emily and her friends watched as their reflections in the mirror morphed into grotesque versions of themselves, twisted smiles, hollow eyes, and contorted features. The room seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and a voice whispered from the depths of the mirror, promising to grant their deepest desires in exchange for their souls. Terrified, the group turned to flee, only to find that the maze had shifted its layout. Panic turned to despair as they realized they were trapped in a never-ending loop. Their reflections taunted them, growing more sinister with each passing moment. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in, suffocating them with an unrelenting sense of dread. As hours turned into days, the teens' sanity began to fray. Their reflections haunted their dreams, their own voices echoing in their minds. Emily, determined not to succumb to the mirror's malevolent power, devised a plan. Using her remaining strength, she shattered the ornate mirror with a chair, causing a shockwave that shattered all the mirrors in the maze. Suddenly, the walls of the maze crumbled, revealing the outside world once more. Gasping for breath and covered in cuts from the shattered glass, Emily and her friends stumbled out, blinking in the harsh sunlight. The restaurant was abandoned, and the mirror maze was gone, as if it had never existed. Years later, the story of the haunted McDonald's and its mirror maze became a local legend, passed down through generations. No one could explain what had happened to Emily and her friends, but their ordeal was a chilling reminder of the darkness that could lurk within even the most innocent of places. To this day, no one knows the true nature of the mirror maze or the forces that dwelled within it. But those who venture too close to the abandoned restaurant at night still report hearing faint whispers and feeling a cold shiver down their spines, a haunting reminder of the horrors that once resided within the mirror maze of McDonald's. In a quiet town nestled among rolling hills, a new McDonald's franchise had just opened its doors. The building's design was modern, but it carried an old, eerie charm. The centerpiece of the restaurant was a towering statue of Ronald McDonald, frozen in a cackling pose, his painted smile somehow unnerving. As days turned into weeks, rumors began to circulate among the employees. Whispers of strange occurrences and mysterious happenings around the statue grew louder. Late at night, employees reported hearing faint laughter echoing through the restaurant, even when the place was empty. Some swore they saw the statue's painted smile shift into an unsettling grin when they weren't looking. One evening, Jake, a teenager who had recently started working at the McDonald's, found himself closing the restaurant alone. He was wiping down tables when he heard the distinct sound of footsteps echoing from the play area. The sound was rhythmic, like the pitter-patter of small feet running across the floor. Curiosity got the better of Jake, and he cautiously ventured towards the play area. The colored lights from the play equipment cast eerie shadows on the walls. As he peered into the dark maze, he saw a flicker of movement. His heart raced as he caught sight of a small figure in the distance. "Hello," he called out, his voice trembling. The figure turned, and Jake's blood ran cold as he saw the unmistakable shape of a child. The child's eyes glinted with an unnatural glow, reflecting the dim light. The child spoke, but the words were distorted, a mixture of laughter and whispers that sent shivers down Jake's spine. Terrified, Jake backed away, his heart pounding. He turned to flee, but then he noticed the towering Ronald McDonald statue. The painted smile that had always seemed off suddenly appeared malevolent, as if it were mocking him. Jake's breath hitched, and he stumbled, falling to the ground. He forced himself to look away from the statue and sprinted towards the exit. As he burst through the doors, he heard a faint, haunting laughter trailing behind him. Gasping for breath, he leaned against the wall, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Word of Jake's encounter spread quickly among the employees. They started sharing their own eerie experiences, each one more chilling than the last. Shadows that moved on their own, whispers in the kitchen, and the feeling of being watched even when they were alone, everyone was affected. One night, as the moon hung low in the sky, a group of employees decided to confront the curse. Armed with flashlights and trembling determination, they gathered around the towering clown statue. The painted smile seemed to taunt them, and the air grew thick with tension. With a deep breath, one of the employees reached out and touched the statue's hand. Suddenly, the laughter that had haunted their nights erupted into a cacophony. Lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls. The statue's eyes glowed, and its painted smile twisted into a nightmarish grin. Panicking, the group scrambled to escape, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside. Laughter echoed around them, growing louder and more frenzied. The walls seemed to close in, the air growing heavy with an oppressive presence. As the group huddled together, they realized that the only way to break the curse was to face their fears head-on. They locked eyes with the statue, defiance in their gaze. With a collective scream, they shattered the statue, its pieces scattering across the floor. The laughter ceased. The lights stopped flickering. And as dawn broke, the curse lifted, leaving behind a McDonald's that was once again peaceful. But the employees would never forget the horror they had faced. The curse of the clown statue had been broken, but the memory of that eerie laughter would forever haunt their nights, a chilling reminder of the terrifying ordeal they had endured. In the midst of the chaos, the locals whispered about the vanishing PlayPlace, a macabre tale that had haunted the establishment for years. The restaurant's cheerful facade hid a sinister secret that would forever change the lives of those who dared to enter. It all began on a stormy night when a group of adventurous teenagers decided to visit the notorious McDonald's. Adam, Sarah, Alex, and Emma were drawn by the rumors and the thrill of testing their courage. As they stepped inside, the dim lights cast eerie shadows across the colorful walls, creating an atmosphere of unease. Their eyes were immediately drawn to the PlayPlace, a sprawling labyrinth of tubes, slides, and tunnels that seemed to stretch into an impossible expanse. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, the group ventured into the neon-hued maze. The air grew colder, and an unsettling sensation settled upon them, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Hours passed, and the friends lost track of time within the convoluted structure. The echoing laughter of children echoed through the tunnels, but they never encountered another soul. Panic started to creep in as they realized they couldn't find their way back to the entrance. The fluorescent lights above flickered ominously, casting disjointed shadows that danced on the walls. As they pressed on, Adam's flashlight caught something peculiar, a wall covered in faded photographs of children, their faces obscured by shadows or smudged out entirely. Each photo was accompanied by a date, but the names were missing. The realization that they might not be alone chilled their bones. A distant sound caught their attention, a soft, haunting melody, like a music box playing a melancholic tune. They followed the sound deeper into the maze until they reached a chamber illuminated by an eerie blue light. At its center stood an antique music box, its lid adorned with a familiar sight, the unmistakable visage of Ronald McDonald. Unable to resist, Sarah carefully wound the music box. The instant the melody began to play, the room seemed to shift around them. The walls closed in, and the ceiling descended with an unnatural slowness. Panicked, the group scattered in different directions, desperately searching for an exit. In the midst of the chaos, Emma vanished without a trace. Her terrified screams echoed through the twisting corridors, but she was swallowed by the PlayPlace's darkness. Frantic and disoriented, the remaining friends struggled to regroup, their attempts to communicate drowned out by the cacophony of distorted laughter and whispers. Alex's voice cracked through the confusion, his flashlight revealing a hidden passage. They followed it, stumbling into an area that defied logic, a grandiose ballroom with crystal chandeliers and a long-abandoned dining area. At the center of the room, they discovered a towering statue of Ronald McDonald, his grin far more malevolent than they remembered. The statue's eyes seemed to follow them, its painted smile stretching unnaturally wide. Desperation gripped them as they realized that their reality was warping before their eyes. They knew they had to escape, or risk being trapped forever in this twisted world. With a final surge of determination, they sprinted towards the entrance, fueled by fear and adrenaline. The walls seemed to close in, the colors melting together, and the whispers grew louder, urging them to stay. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, a blinding flash of light enveloped them. They found themselves back in the familiar confines of the McDonald's, the PlayPlace now looking innocent and unassuming. But they were forever changed by their ordeal, haunted by the memories of the vanishing PlayPlace. Emma was never found, and the group's chilling tale served as a warning to those who dared to tread into the unknown. To this day, the Willowbrook McDonald's stands as a testament to the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown. The vanishing PlayPlace remains a grim reminder that even the most innocent of places can hold the darkest secrets.